It is now 2:04. Thank you so much for being here at the Packet Hacking Village at DEFCON 24. Again, we cannot thank you enough for all your overwhelming support throughout the whole day. We knew we were going to put together a good product, but we did not ever imagine that it would just be all the way back to the room. And thank you all so much for all your support, not only for just today, but also for all these years. I remember Jay was saying, yeah, I mean, back in the days, I mean, it was literally, we just had to scribble username and passwords and put them onto the wall. In fact, it's actually much worse than that. We actually had to use paper plates back at the Alexis Park days. It was all done using paper plates. So, we have a never-ending stream of stuff to give away. And I guess while we're waiting for GrayRaven for his talk, I got two mices here, courtesy of F5 to give out. So I have the dream of, you got a good question to ask, a trivia question, something that's technical, or something something that's of education?
Probably not really, no.
Oh, okay. Oh, boy. You ask.
No, you ask.
No, you ask. Go ahead.
All right, DTLS. What does the acronym stand for? DTLS. Does anybody know? What is it? Oh, yes. There we go. Right here. Datagram is it datagram transport layer?
Is it BTLA?
What?
Is it Bluetooth Low Energy?
No, it's not Bluetooth Low Energy.
Okay, here's a good one I like to get. The HTTP protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. We all use it, right? We also know that is a plain text protocol, right? Can someone explain how it works? In the shortest form possible. How does HTTP works?
Unsecurely.
Okay, what I'm looking for is if you... Okay, it is... I'm looking for two words, fill in the blank, that start with an R. Oh, it is request response. There we go. And client server. Okay, I'll get one here. All right, here you go. Courtesy of. I'm not gonna spill. No, I'm not gonna spill. I'm not gonna spill. No, I'm not gonna spill drinks. We don't want liability here. Okay, also on the HTTP, we're talking about status codes here. What is the status code for unauthorized? Who said 401? I already got something. I know that. So let's be fair. Who said 401? Who said it? Okay. Going way in the back. Way in the back. Here we go.
Good catch.
Okay, so another one I just wrote aside while we're waiting. Yeah, we got 2 minutes left. Okay, so. Oh, we got another one. Okay, we got another projector. You should know this one. I think everyone have encountered this. This one is the internal server error. I heard it in this side. You ready? This is going to be a toss-up. You ready? Ready? Okay. So it is. We got a minute. We got a minute left. We have a minute left. Welcome. This talk has been a long time coming, and this gentleman here that we have, he's been a friend of the Wall of Sheep for a little while. After we, yes, and you said at the end of last year that you want to give a presentation for at the speaker workshops, and so here we are, and of course this is, I guess, one of those things that you check off as that bucket list, and I was like noticing, I was conversing with this gentleman. And it's like, wait, what do you go by? He's like, no, call me GrayRaven, and I was like, okay, all right. So I can tell you right now that this is going to be a little bit of a provocative talk. And it is my pleasure now to introduce to you GrayRaven.
All right. Afternoon. You guys having a good DEF CON? Good? Okay. So I actually can't see anybody when I'm right here, which is kind of cool, because now I think I'm just in a room talking to myself, which is usually how I prepare for all of my talks, just so no one actually hears the bad approaches. With that in mind, do you guys mind? I know it's the Packet Hacking Village. I know it's DEF CON. You may not want your picture taken. So if you don't, just put your head down for the next second. But no one's going to believe that I was here unless there's a photo. That's what I keep hearing on the internet. So I'm going to step out of the light, snap a photo of the room, and if you don't want your face in it, you can either do a thumbs up if you do, or you can put your head down if you don't. But anyway, give me about 2 seconds. And I will start my timer. All right. So if you want to be in the picture, say cheese. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sweet. Thank you. Okay, so I could point out that I did just manipulate everybody in the room to letting me take their picture. So back to the title, you are always being manipulated. So before we kind of get into that, this talk came about because I ended up becoming a father about 3.5 years ago. Yeah, very cool. And so, my name's on the slide. I figured you guys didn't want a 3.5-year-old running around while I was doing it. So my daughter's not here. And that's okay. But, here, let me do this real quick. Sorry. Getting used to the new layout. I want to say a quick thanks to Tony for loaning me his laptop when mine decided not to work. So, as I said, this is my daughter. This was one morning we were just playing around with my cat. And so this is really a story about her. So I'm not going to tell you guys about me because I'm like a lot of people out here. I'm an infosec nerd. It's really what I do. You guys already know that. I could tell you all that stuff. But so let me tell you about Lena, my daughter. She is the hero of this story because she's the reason why I can then tell you guys the whole plan. And what the plan is that children are natural social engineers. They have a certain, and I hesitate to say this because I love my daughter. She's a really cool kid. But they have a certain moral flexibility. I think we can all agree about that. They have goals. They go for them. And that's great because, after you kind of give up hope and you realize my own daughter is manipulating me, what hope do I have with strangers out in the real world? You can start to focus on how we can use this. And that's really the important part. So you guys half of you probably are like, yeah, I already knew I was being manipulated. It happens all the time. The other half, maybe not in this room, but we'll go with that. You guys may be thinking to yourself, why did he say that? Well, the truth is you're always being manipulated. Some of it is benign, some of it's malicious. And I didn't really catch a lot of this because, I'm not the smartest guy. It's just I'm very shocked to be standing up here because there's a lot of smart people that are always speaking at DEF CON. So I happened to notice that my daughter was manipulating not only me but other people. And she was doing it in ways that you would, us adults, we pay like thousands of dollars in training to be as good as she is. It's true. We have bounds that we got to stay within. She doesn't. So most of these interactions, like I said, are not malicious. And once I realized that these manipulations are happening all the time, it allowed me to kind of think about things. Now, before we get into like what I actually learned, we got to know all the players that are involved in this new world we're in. I guess I say new. It's probably old. Everything that's old is new again. So let's start with the good guys. Now, on the left we have corporations, advertising. They have billions of dollars. They want you to buy stuff. They spend billions of dollars so that you will buy stuff. It seems pretty straightforward. And I put a question mark because really and truly, good guys? Maybe, maybe not. And then we have friends and family. As you can tell from the picture, my daughter is winning at the moment because I have no idea where I am. And I really have no idea except that she wanted me to go that direction that she's pointing. And I did because I was beat down. And on the right, we have pets. Now, I include pets because really and truly, if you have a pet, you've taken in a small, strange animal. You have fed it, cared for it, you love it. And, you know, yeah, it's soft and it's friendly and all that stuff. But, I mean, really, with cats, it's kind of a toss-up, right? They may love you. They may not. They're cats. And I will point out that this does meet the requirement for any InfoSec talk of having at least one cat picture in the video. You always got to have one. I now have mine. And I would have more in the talk. I would hate to disappoint some people who are cat lovers in the room, but I could not find any more cat pictures on the internet. It was weird. They just weren't there that day. I don't know what happened. So, then there are the bad guys. And let me point out that when you stumble across a picture of a pirate with a butter knife attacking a computer, you add it to the next presentation that you have. Because when do you ever see this in real life? So the bad guys. Let's go through the list of the usual suspects. We have the obvious con artists and scammers. We have, the phishing and vishing attacks that we're also familiar with. And I do include watering hole attacks in this kind of approach because they're taking advantage of something that you trust, a well-known site, and then they're injecting something bad into it. So still similar. And then coming back to my favorite, advertising. Because, once again, really, are they the good guys or the bad guys? So we know who our good guys are. We know who our bad guys are. Now, to explain a little bit about what we're going to get into, the good guys are our training partners. They're the ones who create kind of a low-risk environment where we can realize what's happening in the dynamics of a social engineering attack, kind of in a safe environment. So the bad guys are the ones who want to steal our money, give us, get away with lots of stuff, get us to do things that we're not supposed to, compromise our companies. So they're what we're training for. So let's start with the thing that is the basis of all social engineering attacks, trust. So once again, I pointed out, you guys let me take a picture of you, and you guys also have a little bit of trust in me because you're sitting here. If someone left the room, since I can't see that, cool. You may have learned something. But when you look at the case with my daughter, I have a ton of trust in her because I've known her since the moment she was born. And so this both works to her advantage and disadvantage. But with any social engineering attack, you have to build trust with the target. Or, in the case, the attacker has to build trust with me because I'm trying to defend. So let's look at my daughter's example. Now, here she is. She's adorable. Half the room probably wants to give her a cookie right now just from the picture. And this is a question that I get asked almost on a daily basis. Papa, are you happy with me? And unless she's done something immediately before asking that question that has made me frustrated or angry, my answer is, of course I'm happy with you. So this is the thing. She's already started with the ask. Papa, are you happy with me? She's building that trust. She's taking advantage of the rapport between us. And then I respond as a parent favorably because I want my daughter to grow up, healthy and psychologically stable and all that. And so I say, of course I'm happy with you. And then comes the tail. She doesn't ask this. She tells me this. Then I will have chocolate for dinner. So as you guys can see, this is not an overly complex attack. I mean, she's 3.5, but it'll get better, trust me. But she's taking advantage of a very basic principle and something that, if you're not in the moment and it's somebody that you do trust or someone that's built trust with you, you could potentially fall for it, especially when it's not quite as, well, let's just say my daughter lacks subtlety at times. So this is what she does. Now let's see how we can defend against this basic attack of trust. You guys are pretty familiar with this, be cautious. We are at DEF CON. We are pretty much cautious. I want to say pretty much in our nature. So how can being cautious help us? Well, it makes us slow down a little bit. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. So, like trust is the foundational beginning of any attack, being cautious is the foundational defense. And when we are cautious, we slow down and we think. When we can think, we evaluate the situation and we really see what's going on. So you'll see that caution is kind of like the thing that follows through all of the basic defenses. Next defense, we all are familiar with this phrase, trust but verify. I used to work as a software engineer until about 3 weeks ago, and then I changed roles. And when I was working through code, someone would say, oh, this is how it works. And you're like, okay, you're a good programmer, I trust you. but I'm just going to go look at it to make sure that's actually how it works. And so this is what we need to do with other people. We trust but verify. And this is, I want to put this in here because I don't want you guys to think that in trying to defend yourself against social engineering attacks, you need to be distrustful. I trust my daughter. I trust the people around me. I trust you guys in the room. Y'all seem pretty cool. And so it's instinctive. Trust is what helped us as humans survive. It's what helped us build civilizations. So we have to have it, but we don't have to just trust blindly. We can actually, verify the things. So we verify by going through independent sources. So in the case of my daughter, returning to her because she's our good example, I usually go to my wife for independent verification because, we can all admit my wife is the one who actually knows what's going on. I'm just here and trying to get through day by day, usually with the help of a lot of coffee. So when my daughter asks me for something and I'm not quite sure, I go to my wife and I'm like, hey, do we need to do this? And she usually says, no. What, are you, an idiot? And I say, good call. And then I go back and tell my daughter no. So now we've kind of got this basic example. You guys kind of see where this is going. Now we're going to look at a real-world example. And it's my favorite. This is Dan. He's from IT. He's here to help. And so Dan is actually taking advantage of two things that we know and trust. So he's taking advantage of trust in the fact that if you are probably not one of us or not in IT in general, you don't really trust IT a lot. There's always that hesitation because when they say they're there to help, it's usually to stop you from doing something that would be cool and awesome, and they just don't realize that yet. There's also the actual pushing of authority. In most companies, IT has a certain amount of authority, especially over networks and systems and keeping everybody safe and all of that. So Dan is applying these two things. So he's going to build trust with our target. He's going to say, okay, well, I need you to install some updates. I want to make sure that your system's fully updated because, we have, reason to believe that we're under attack because that's happening all the time. And then if Dan's done, comes in with a good approach, people will say, Dan, I appreciate that. My computer's up to date. I'm pretty on top of that. And Dan will say, excellent, because he wants to continue to build this rapport. And then he'll say, I just need you to verify through this website X. We'll call it X because we know there's probably some other website. And what you'll see is that, this is a little bit more complicated because Dan is actually applying a couple of things. He's trying to create a little bit of an urgency. He's trying to get the person to do something. Not quite as straightforward as my daughter just saying, I'm going to have chocolate now. So how do we get around this? Well, we first are cautious. We are on the phone. We don't really know who Dan is, right? He may be from IT. I work for a rather large company right now, so I have no idea who any of the IT people are in my company. So there could be a Dan, probably is a Dan, but I don't know that. So then I have to trust but verify. So the way you trust but verify, it's pretty easy. You just say, hey, Dan, I appreciate that. I'm in a meeting right now, or I'm really busy. Let me just call back later, and I'll make sure I go to the website and verify. So, it could be legitimate, could not be. We kind of get through it using the tactics that we saw. So the next level my daughter developed was this. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the term reciprocity, it's creating an imbalance because naturally as humans we want to recreate this balance. So you'll give somebody something to kind of make them beholden to you. And when my daughter learned this, it was actually pretty cool because it showed me that she's evolving in her attack strategy, which for a crazy person like me, that's awesome. I kind of encourage this. It's like, yes, do this. Keep attacking. And that's a great thing about children. They evolve quickly, they adapt quickly, and so it keeps you on your toes when you're training against them. And let's be fair, my daughter is the trainer. I am just the student in this case. So if anyone has children, you know that they don't clean up anything. We had a clean house, and now there's toys everywhere. I'm not sure how many toys there are in the house because I step on them like every 2 footsteps. So one day, my daughter says, Papa, look how good I'm cleaning. And she actually had found a vacuum cleaner, drug it out, and started pushing things around with the vacuum cleaner, as you can see. And so the opening is to give something unexpected to the parent. This is a great approach, right? We want to give something unexpected to the parent so that they will feel beholden to do something for us later on. And then she reinforces that, and she said, look how clean I made it. I did a good job, right? This is great, because now she's using that trust again, right? And so I should clarify. I'm not making these up. I actually wrote these down when I had the idea for the talk. These all actually happened, and I wrote down word for word what had happened, just so you guys can understand that this is like real-world scenarios, even though they're low risk. And then she came up with the ask. Since I did a good job, can I have candy? Well, that's a pretty small ask for what, you cleaned up stuff, okay? So it's pretty easy for that request for my daughter. It's more of a mental exercise of seeing what she did and understanding the attack. So what helps us with reciprocity is the first defense of, do I know this person, right? Well, with Lena, once again, I've known her since the moment she was born. This actually is a disadvantage for her in this case because I know her motivations. I know all of the attacks she's going to come at me with. However, with most people who are going to try this attack, you don't know them that well, or you may know them just a little bit. So how well can you trust this person? Once again, it makes you want to be cautious. Don't just accept that they're giving you something that's good. Keep going. So after you kind of analyze how well you know the person, you want to move on to looking at the actual situation that you're in. Is it more give than take? And so when you add urgency to this, it's a little hard to do this. Someone who's going to come with you with a reciprocity attack is not going to say, I want you to think about this. Give it a day. I'll come back tomorrow. They're going to try to get you to move right now, and that's to interrupt this part of your brain that can actually evaluate, these approaches. So instinctively, we're going to try to seek this fairness and balance in all of our interactions. And when we like somebody, we kind of want to give into that. So if they've built a good bit of trust, they've built rapport with us, we're going to kind of want to give into that. And we want to make this balanced. And the key is that the reason why this is very important to practice is that we're not very good at judging that in the situation. We really need time to analyze it. So yeah. And this is my favorite real-world example, because we're all so familiar with it, and it brings me back to my favorite people in the world, advertisers. So some people may not recognize this as Billy Mays. You may know OxyClean, the product, and you obviously know that phrase, but wait, there's more. So let's go through the attack. There's the opening. I don't know about you guys, I stay up pretty late at night, and if the TV's on, granted, there's probably not that many infomercials anymore if you're, doing Hulu or Netflix or whatnot, but you would see a TV commercial at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you would think that it was part of a program because it was all kinds of things were happening. And the opening, they would show you a product, and it's do you need 1 pound of OxyClean? No, I do not. Well, that's not true. I'm a home brewer, so yes, I do, but I don't want to pay all the shipping and handling for you guys. So they're going to give me something unexpected, right? I'm watching this, I'm tired, and then they're going to say, but wait, there's more. If you call now, we'll give you 3 pounds of OxyClean. Oh, hang on. As a home brewer, I really want 3 pounds of OxyClean because I want to make some more beer. And that seems like a good deal, but I'm still not sold. So then they're going to reinforce it. You won't find a deal this good. Once again, 3 o'clock in the morning, I may not find a deal this good, and I only have 5 minutes to act. So let me think about that. Yeah, I'm probably going to buy the OxyClean. And then comes the ask. Right after they've told you how good of a deal it is, they're going to say, can you afford to pass up this offer? Well, as a home brewer, probably not. I really want to have lots of beer around me, and I like it when I make it. So I may fall for this one more than I should. I'm not going to lie. But that's, we see the same attack. It's the same thing my daughter did. They are going to give you something unexpected. They're going to kind of balance it out because they only want you to pay shipping and handling. Decent deal. So this leads us to, this leads us to the last part of our 3 kind of primary attacks. Now, if we began with the foundation of trust, right, and then we start creating balances, we want to finish with this linchpin of any kind of good social engineering attack, which is we want to create urgency, right? And so I know what you guys are probably thinking. How can a small child create urgency in a situation? I mean, I'm the adult. I kind of dictate the pace of everything, right? Well, children, especially when they're infants and a little bit larger, have a secret weapon. It is biologically wired into your brain that the pitch that a kid makes when they're crying goes to a part of your brain that makes you want to react without thinking. It's instinctive. It's built in and biological. So to explain this story, because obviously there's not a lot of text up here, my daughter had very long hair, and then she wanted to get it cut. And so we cut it, and she asked the stylist if she could put it into an Elsa braid. Now, I know there may be some people out here who have not seen the movie Frozen 9,000 times like I have. Elsa is one of the main characters, and she has this nice braid that comes down the side of her head. So my daughter loves having an Elsa braid because she is a small child who's watched Frozen 9,000 times. And when she was told that she couldn't have it, she cried Papa, and then there was just a wail of noise after that. I really had no idea what was going on. But once again, as a parent, I rushed over. What can I do? How can I help? And so urgency. Force the parent into immediate action, right? And then after you force the parent into immediate action, and I get her to calm down, you want to comfort the parent because you want to reinforce that rapport and the trust, right? So She comforts me. It's okay, Papa. It's okay. The hand gestures are there as well. She has a little tiny hand. She puts them out. And then I don't even know what she wanted. But then she said, can you get it for me, please? So once again, she has, she's calmed down. And then she's asked for something. Now, the urgency is there, because if I say no at this point, she's in a very fragile emotional state, right? She's going to start crying again. This is what's going to happen. Everyone who knows out there, if you've been around small children, you know this. They cry for really no reason at all at times. So, this leads us to lesson 1 in the urgency situation. Follow the process. Now, you may be thinking, what process? Okay, good. That's a good first step. Develop a process. And then once you've developed the process, train in the process. Make sure you can say the process in your sleep, especially when dealing with small children and malicious attackers. And then you always want to follow the process, right? Once you've got a process in place, you've trained with it, you're familiar with it, you want to follow it all the time. Do not deviate from the process, for there lies dragons. Lesson number 2. Remember lesson number 1 about always following the process? Seriously, always follow the process. If you don't follow the process, even in one instance, that's it. The attackers only need one chance. That's all they need. So, we have developed our process. We are following our process. Let's take a look at our real world example. Ooh. All right. So, a lot of people in the room laugh at this. So I'm going to kind of tell it from a different point of view, right? And to be honest, I have a psychology major. I could do an entire talk just on the most awesome things that are in this actual attack, this pop-up. So there are a lot of things that draw you to the areas they want to, and a lot of ways to get you to do the things they want to, especially, and this is the important part, the people who are going to see this and not immediately go, yeah, right, are really 90% of the companies we work with, right? They're the marketing people. They are the normal power users. And when they see this, the first thought that goes through their head, if they don't have a process, is, oh my God, I'm the person who just got our company owned. So they think they may have done something bad. Now, they may have actually been doing something bad. We'll save that for another talk. So the first part I want to point out is everything is in red. And that's, why do we stop at stop signs? Because we're trained that red means we stop, right? My daughter at 1, when she first learned to talk, knew that red light meant stop. Once again, children are amazing. And so what you want to do is you want to force the target into an immediate action. They create the urgency because the pop-up comes up on top of whatever you were doing, right? So you get scared if you're one of these people. And then they draw you to the things that they want you to see. The virus is all capitalized and underlined, whereas everything else is lowercase. Credit card, account, all of these things are underlined. And in fact, what I love about this is it doesn't even say that your computer has a virus. It just says it may have a virus. But you don't really pay attention to that. You see virus, and you see a phone number, and then comes the best part of this attack. We detected, and we can fix the issue. They've reinforced it. They're comforting the target. Okay, cool, I made a mistake, but these nice people on the internet are going to help me fix it. And then they reinforce it to get the action that they want from the victim. Click here to fix the problem now. Well, in this case, it's call this number and give us your credit card numbers. But it's the same principle, It's this, and think about it from that mindset, because that's really what we're talking about is that, we're specialized individuals. We kind of know the reality of the world. We've dove into the Lovecraftian madness of the realities of information security. We know how dangerous people can be, and we know how bad things can be at times. So in social engineering, you kind of have to look at it from the other side. This person is really thinking they've just gotten the company owned, and so they're going to click without thinking. So we want them to slow down, be cautious, follow the process. So why, I've been sitting up here and I gave you guys some examples, and you guys have very patiently listened to me talk about my daughter, which I appreciate. As a parent, that makes me very happy. But I really wanted to teach you guys something here, and so it's this. We pay, lots of money for training for everyone in our companies and to train ourselves to be better at detecting social engineering attacks because, really and truly, we have the wall of sheep, and I love the wall of sheep. It's the most awesome thing that I can think of. But at the same time, we constantly are getting, infiltrated and owned through spear phishing attacks and through clever manipulations by people because you're always being manipulated, and yet we spend a lot of money on training, but we don't seem to be making any footholds actually. And I will say with one caveat, it does seem that some of the phishing attacks have gone down. We're starting to get people to realize because we're changing their behaviors in that way. But in general, we train people in a different way than the attacks are going to happen. You know, it's kind of like this. You have a guy on stage, and I tell you about all this stuff, and you guys are sitting out there and you're listening, and that's what we do with our company. We tell them about the attacks, we tell them how they're set up, and then we expect them not to be nice, people and hold doors open for the next person coming in. It reminds me, I saw a talk, I think about a year ago, that Jason Street did, where he said, I don't focus on the hard stuff because the easy stuff still works. That's really the downfall. So why do I think this program is different than I've been trying to convince you guys of? Well, it's very simple. In this one, I'm training like I fight. The attacks my daughter is doing on me and the attacks that are kind of around us all, even benign ones, they're exactly the same structure as a malicious attack is going to happen. Now, the malicious attack may combine multiple factors, may be a little more subtle, but if I'm training in the basics and I have a strong foundation, I'll detect and be aware of the things that are happening around me. So what I want to point out is, and I actually don't do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I do train in other martial arts, but if you look at the guy who's on his back, right? He's in the guard position. The guy on top is trying to get past his guard because he wants to win. But if you'll notice, the guy that looks like he's at a disadvantage because he's on his back and he has this other person on top of him, look at his face. That guy is calm. He is very relaxed. He knows, I've got this. I've trained to defend the guard position forever. I'm good at this. So we train like we fight. And it's basically what I'm trying to do with this thing that I've developed, and now I'm just trying to share with you guys, because really the secret is you have to go out and create a personal program for you. You kind of will discover where your weaknesses are, and then you can create a low-risk environment to start hardening up those weaknesses. So that's the first part that I wanted to say to you guys is, train like you fight. Make sure it's low risk. You don't want to jump in the deep end and start, going out there and finding every phishing email that you've ever gotten sent and be like, okay, I got this. I'm going to just click on things and make sure it's legitimate and we're good. And you don't want to just go find a great con artist and have them pull a con on you because, you're probably going to lose. You got to train in the shallow end before you can start swimming in the deep end. Second thing I'd like to point out is you want to reward your training partner. So now I've used a lot of examples because my daughter's main motivation is candy, cookies, sweets. You guys see where this is going? There's a theme here. Reward your training partners. And, pets, they're pretty easy. Pet them, continue to feed them, love them. And with my daughter, I do occasionally give her cookies. Actually, what you guys can see right here is that she had pulled a successful attack in the middle of a mall on me. And when I say a successful attack, I should point out, it's not like, even though I am a sleep-deprived parent, that when she said, I want a cookie, I immediately said, okay, cool, let's do this. No, but I should point out with small children, the way that you do this is if your child does something to you, or if your training partner, pet, whatever, does something to you, and you move without thinking, you lost. They won in that round. So, reward them, point out what they did. And actually, the fun part is, now that my daughter's almost 4, I'm teaching her what she's doing. So I'm making her more dangerous. I hope to bring her here next year, so you guys watch out. She'll pull things on you. It'll be awesome. Now, I will say there's one caveat to our training partners. Marketing people and advertising people, I've made a couple of jokes about them already. They really don't need any more encouragement. They get paid. They get huge budgets. And really and truly, they have perfected the art. They're one of the best examples. You can watch, once you start being aware of the things happening around you, watch commercials. I now actually go out of my way to find commercials and watch and just see if I can identify the different ways they set up their cells. Because that's the way you learn, right? And so now we have to remember, we've built a training program. We are going to co-opt, small children everywhere, hopefully, in good ways, and use them as training partners with the permission of their parents if you are not the parent. And we're not going to encourage the advertisers and marketers, right? Okay, so we have to remember what we're fighting against, right? So once again, this guy is in a full tactical hoodie. He has a laptop and a keyboard with 3 monitors. You put that in your presentation because I've never seen that before. And somehow it's awesome, right? You guys are thinking to yourselves, that's pretty cool. That's right, yeah. I only have 2 monitors as well, so yeah. At three things go downhill. It's just too much stuff on the screen. So, but we got to remember, right? The pressure is constant. You're always being manipulated. Guys, we're in Vegas. You're always being manipulated. Everything from the lights on the casinos to the sound the slot machines make, to the way that the layout of the casino is made, the advertising all around you, the stuff in your room. The only moment that you get any peace is kind of right now during this talk, unless I'm really manipulating you, and when you're asleep. And even then, you've been bombarded, so you're probably having dreams about weird Vegas stuff. I know I am, but, that could just be me. So the good news is everybody in this room is a hacker. Whether you think of yourself as being a hacker or not, you're here. You're playing around with stuff. You're listening. You're learning. You're adapting. That's really the hacker mindset. So the good news is we're all very capable of going out and building our own personalized training programs and becoming better, and then teaching other people how to become better. So remember, the attackers are going to apply constant pressure. They're going to create urgency. They're going to build trust. They're going to create an imbalance, so you're going to want to move. And they are well-funded and well-researched. They know this stuff better than all of us, really. And they're going to be much more subtle than my daughter's attempts, so remember that. And with that, I'm a little bit early, but that's okay. I got a couple of things. Does anybody have any questions? I say, if you don't, I do. Oh, we got one. Yes, sir. We're at the exits? No clue. So we'll say to talk about. Oh, red. Okay, so there's an exit over there. There's probably one over there, just guessing. No, that's a window, so go over that way. I will say this. When Ming introduced me, he said, I had known him for a while. I did meet him last year and hung out for a while. That was my first DEF CON. And now I'm here at a Village speaking. So what I would say is that you may think to yourself that you don't have ideas. And you may think to yourself, I don't know what I could talk about. The fact that you have a unique experience, you guys let me sit up here and talk for 30 minutes about my daughter and social engineering, and you're in a packet hacking village in the Wall of Sheep. So somehow this has worked out for us, I think. If you have an idea, put it together, submit it. You never know what can happen, and we need more speakers, and we need more people doing that. So if there aren't any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, contact me. I'll be here through Sunday. Find me. And thank you for letting me speak.